Good morning, friends. This is Krishna. Welcome to our building vocabulary sessions. There are a lot of teachers that are teaching vocabulary. Even in YouTube, also, you'll see a lot of videos, a lot of teachers that are teaching vocabulary. But I have found one basic problem with most of those lessons. They are not aimed at increasing your vocabulary in a fundamental way. They mostly pick up words in alphabetical order and they tell the meanings. They are not telling the context or they are not giving examples. Mostly they are just giving the meanings of the words and going ahead with the next words. They are going in alphabetical order. Learning vocabulary is a lot to do with retaining vocabulary also. It has got a lot to do with retaining. Finding new words is not that difficult. When you read a newspaper, you will get to see some new words which you don't know, or you will find new words. But that is not the hard part, or even finding the meanings of those words is also not the hard part. You can pick up a dictionary and find the meanings. But the difficult part is how do you retain them? Once you come across a word, how do you understand the meaning, and what do you do so that you don't need to refer to that word again to your dictionary? That is the critical aspect. A lot of these videos on YouTube, they miss on that point, mainly because they don't give context. They don't give a history of the word or how it was derived. A lot of English words, 70-80% of these English words are derived from Greek and Latin. The roots of English are from Greek and Latin. There are derivations from other languages also, but majorly from Greek and Latin. So it is very important for us to learn those roots that are coming from Greek and Latin. When we say roots, these are like real roots of plants and trees, right? Without roots, just like the tree cannot stand. In the same way, to understand English words, we need to understand these roots. There are hundreds of roots or thousands of roots, but I have picked the 300 most important roots that give way to a lot of English words. These 300 roots are really important, and we'll cover around 1500. We are covering around 1500 words that are coming out of these roots. Most importantly, these will give much better understanding of how words are getting created, and you will get much richer understanding of the words that you already know. You will get a different perspective of the words that you already know. In fact, most of the words used in scientific or technical language or even in medical language are from Greek and Latin. All the roots, if you see, all technical words, they are, be it in mathematics, be it in physics or any field, these are derived from Greek and Latin. And you will see there is a strong linkage of these words with Sanskrit also, which many teachers they don't know and they don't teach you also. Right, here we will cover all these aspects. The goal is to add lot of vocabulary to our permanent working vocabulary. Our vocabulary, it should be permanent. We should not read it once and forget it. Okay, and to understand most useful classical word building roots to help us expand our vocabulary. That is the goal of these lessons, these sessions. Right. Let us quickly start. Volve. Volve. Volve means to roll or to wind or to turn around. For example, revolve. We all know revolve means to go in a circle around any central point. Earth revolves around the sun. Earth revolves on its own axis. The fan revolved slowly, etc. Revolve has got the same root word which is wall. Wall means to go in round. Even in Sanskrit also, valaya. Valaya is the word. Valaya is a circle. Valaya is, we use the word for bangle also. One, because bangle is circular, right? Valayakara means the shape is in circular form. Same root which is Same root in Sanskrit as well, in Latin and Greek as well. Okay. Volume. Volume was originally a scroll or roll of paper or cloth, etc. Now also we see paper getting rolled, right? For example, tissue paper or cloths getting rolled. So volume is originally a roll, but nowadays we use it for multiple other forms also. Volume of work. For example, if it is about book or sales volume, volume of quantity, or water volume or liquid volume, etc. Voluble. Earlier, volume means the paper that was actually rolled. So that's how it is related with rolling. Voluble. Voluble is speaking very fluently, speaking readily, very rapidly, very talkative. Voluble person, how this word has come is a voluble person has words rolling off his or her tongue. The rolling is much faster, right? Rolling than pushing. Is rolling a ball is much faster than pushing a box, right? So words are rolling up the tongue. Okay, that person is voluble. So words are rolling. That's how it is related to vol. That is voluble. Next, devolve. Devolve is a roll out responsibility to someone else, to a deputy. Let's say this is giving the work to someone down. That is uh, devolve. It means passing responsibility from one person or group to another person or group at a lower level of authority. D D prefix. D means moving backward. Once powers have been centralized in a unified government, giving any powers back. That is called devolving the power to a smaller government unit. Devolve also means to gradually go from an advanced state to a less advanced state. Nowadays, devolve is actually seen as opposite of evolve. Evolve is from basic state to advanced state. Devolve is seen as the opposite. We also speak of moral devolution, where a country with an extraordinary culture becomes a full dictatorship. Parents may worry about their children that if devolution is occurring right in front of their eyes, etc. So devolve nowadays is used as opposite of evolve. Evolve is any piece of change from lower or simpler state to more advanced state, more higher, better, complex state. So that is change. Change is kind of rolling, right? Biological evolution, evolution of technology, society, and other human creations. An idea may also evolve in our mind. So all these involve some kind of rolling, some kind of flow. That is evolution. We discussed this also. Then convolution. Convolution is something which is like curved windings, having a pattern of curved windings, very involved, very intricate, very complex. After 10 minutes, his strange story has become so convoluted that none of us could follow. It has got so many curves, so many rolls. Convolution originally meant a complex winding pattern, such as those visible on the surface of brain. Is a complex winding. Winding means rolling, right? Yes, so that's why a convoluted argument or convoluted explanation is one that winds that way. Convoluted process, that is so difficult process which you find in government organizations. Convoluted language may make people suspicious. You are not speaking clearly. Convoluted language, uh, you are trying to hide something. You are not speaking clearly. You are trying to make it complex. You are making it complex because probably you want to fool someone. Okay, that is convolution. Hope you understood these words with the root which is vol. means go round. Remember it and relate it with Valaya in Sanskrit. Next, FAC, fact. Fact means to make or to do. A fact. Fact was originally simply something done. That we all know, right? Fact. What is a fact? A fact is something which is already, which is done. Making or doing is fact. Benefactor. Benefactor is someone who does good, who actually gives some money or help to a person or an organization. The benefactor gave a kind donation of 1 million, for example. And what is a factory? Factory is something, some factory is a place which generally manufactures something. That is the factory. Fact is related to making or doing. So this is how the word factory was also created. Now you would have got a new, we have got a new perspective of the word factory, right? Because it involves fact, which is like making, doing. Factor. What is a factor? Factor is something that contributes to producing a result. Factor is an ingredient. Most important part, no, most important factor in the success. Means what is the most important contributing agent? Okay. In Latin, factor means simply a doer also. So in English, a factor can be an actor also, an element or an ingredient, etc. Charm can be a factor in someone's success. Lack of exercise can be a factor of can be a factor in producing a poor health, in producing poor health. In maths also we use this factor to mean a number that can be multiplied or derived or divided to produce a given number. For example, factors of 40 are 5 and 8. Okay. In biology also we use this word factor, which is related to a gene, because genes are ingredients in the total organism. So that is how we use factor, which is coming from fact, making or doing. Factotum. Factotum. This is factotum. Factotum is a person whose job involves doing many different kinds of work. Okay. This kind of job of all trades. Over the years, she has become the office factotum, who might be doing legal research one day and organizing the company's picnic the next day. Okay, that is factotum. Facile. Facile is very easily accomplished. I didn't mention it here. F-A-C-I-L-E. Facile, fact, factor, etc. Facile. Facile is something very easily accomplished, very shallow, very superficial. The principal made a facile argument for the school's policy, but no one was convinced. So a facile suggestion doesn't deal with the issue in any depth. Easily accomplished, easily done. Making or doing is fact, right? So facile is something very easily done. A facile writer. So, so in this way, facile suggestion doesn't deal with the issue in depth and maybe only temporarily effective. That's why. A facile writer is one who seems to write too quickly and easily. And any careful reader can easily discover that the writer hasn't really researched much about the topic. Facilitate. Facilitate. This did we mention? Okay. Facilitate. Facilitate. A lot of people don't know this word, but it is also a very easy word. Facilitate actually means to make something easy, easier, to make something done more smoothly. Her uncle hadn't exactly gotten her the job, but he had facilitated the process. That means he would have helped her in some way, in applying or in giving interview, etc. We also see facilitators. Those are people who lead some workshops or therapy groups, etc. Because their job is not to teach, but rather to make the meeting productive. Even businesses now use facilitators in meetings. Facilitation is that kind of rewarding the discussion. Okay, that is facilitation. Benefactor we had discussed. Faction. Faction is actually a small group which is which is a part of much bigger group. That is faction. Because they do something else. That is faction. Facility we know. Facility is something which makes it easy, which makes things to do easy. That is facility. It could be buildings, services, equipments, etc. that are provided for a particular purpose. Leisure, sports facilities, medical, recreational, educational facilities, banking facilities, etc. Recycling facilities, etc. Faction. Faction is small group of people within a larger one who's, who have different aims and beliefs to those of the larger group. They are rival factions within the administration. Both belong to the administration, but they are rival. Okay, fact they do things differently. Okay, that is faction. A party divided by faction. Factitious is not real, but it was made up. It was created deliberately to made to appear to be true. Okay, that is uh, that is factitious, to made or done just to appear uh, just to appear as if it is true. It is actually artificial, specially done or specially created, specially made. That is factitious. Similarly, facsimile is exact copy of something. Facsimile, exact copy of something. Facsimile of the document is available here. A facsimile edition, a manuscript reproduced in facsimile. Okay, that is facsimile, exact copy of something. Faculty. Fact again means to do. Faculty is a department or group of departments in a college or university. That is one reason. The teachers in the faculty of the in a faculty of the college of university, for example, because they make you to learn. That is faculty. Or faculty also means aptitude. Aptitude for a particular activity. It makes you to do that thing, right? Factotum we just discussed. An employee who does all kinds of activities. Fact is doing all, he does all kinds of things. That person is factotum. Next is umber. Umber comes from Latin umbra. Umbra means shadow or umbrella, familiar, which is very familiar to us. Umbrella means which is a little shadow to keep off the sun or the rain. La. La means small. Umber plus la, umbrella, which means a little shadow to keep the sun or to keep off the sun or rain. That is umbrella. Umber. Umber is a darkish brown mineral containing manganese and iron oxide for coloring of planes. Okay, because shadow is little darkish, right? So the color of it is umber, a color that is greenish brown to dark reddish brown, that kind of color, which is kind of dark brown, which looks like shadow. That is umber. Adumbrate. Adumbrate is indicating something faintly or kind of foreshadowing, to hint as to foretell. Synonym for adumbrate is foreshadow, which means to present a shadowy version of something before it becomes reality or is provided in full. Tough questioning by by a Supreme Court justice may adumbrate the way he or she is planning to rule on a case. She is trying to give a sketchy outline, or she is probably, we can sense what is going to happen. It is kind of foreshadow. A bad review by a critic may adumbrate the failure of a new film. The new film hasn't failed yet, but the review might give that foreshadow that the film is going to fail. In the olden days, it was believed that rats scurrying of a ship to adumbrate a coming disaster at sea. Scurrying means running quickly here and there, running for protection, let's say. That is running, taking quick steps and running quickly. That is scurrying. Rats scurrying of a ship were believed to adumbrate a coming disaster at the sea. That is adumbrate. Penumbra. Penumbra is, I didn't mention it here. Let me write it down. Penumbra. Penumbra is a partial shadow surrounding a complete shadow when generally in an eclipse. This is a fringe or surrounding area where something exists less fully. That is penumbra. When there is an eclipse, every solar eclipse casts an umbra. Umbra is the darker central area in which almost no light reaches the earth. That is umbra. And penumbra is the area of partial shadow where part of the sun is still visible. That is penumbra. So both are related to shadows. One is full dark shadow, one is little on the periphery lighter shadow. So penumbra, that's how it has got to be used to describe any gray area where things aren't all black and white. The right to privacy falls under the penumbra of the Constitution. That means it's a gray area. It is not clearly black and white. The right to digital protection or right to privacy, because the governments have not clearly defined. Because what comes under right to privacy? That is penumbra under the Constitution. Private life, areas of citizens' private life. That is penumbra. Umbrage. Umbrage is actually a feeling of resentment at some slight or insult. Okay, often one that is imagined that rather than real, because often that is kind of shadow, not real. Umbrage was originally a shadow, and it soon became to mean a shadowy suspicion. Okay, take umbrage at. Shiv often took umbrage at his treatment of her, without being able to pinpoint what was offensive about it. Taking umbrage at, that means taking uh, uh, then taking small offense, taking offense, that is umbrage. This is a shadowy suspicion. An overly sensitive person may take umbrage at something as small as having his or her name pronounced wrongly. That is taking umbrage, taking offense. Some people get offended when their names are not spelled correctly or pronounced properly. So that is taking umbrage at. Umbrage is, that's how related to shadow. A shadow is suspicion. It is not the real thing, okay, but it is actually a kind of shadow. Now, next is vest. Vest is to cloth or to dress. Same word which in Sanskrit also vastra. Vastra is a cloth, right? Same root. In Sanskrit also, here also. You remember it this way. So vest, you would have seen those undergarment vests, etc. You would have seen those ads. That vest means a rather small piece of clothing. Okay, that is vest. Undergarment worn on the trunk. That is a small piece of clothing worn over the waist also. Vest means garment. Divest. Divest is actually mean to get rid of or free oneself of property, authority, or title. Okay. In literally it meant to strip someone's clothings or ornaments or equipment, to remove the cloth, dye plus vest, to remove the cloth, to remove the ornaments, to remove the authority, to remove the equipment, etc. Okay. If you decide to enter a monastery, you may divest yourself of most of your possessions. That means you will be stripped of your possessions. You will have to give up your possessions. Investors are constantly divesting themselves of stocks that aren't performing well. That means they are constantly removing, stripping those stocks. Athletes, when they are found using steroids, they are usually divested of any awards that they may have won. That means their awards will be removed from them. They are stripped from them. So divest originally it meant to remove the clothes in a way of insult, or to remove the clothes or ornaments or equipments. Nowadays it has got to, it is being used for depriving also. Okay. Invest in plus vest. So originally it meant uh, invest something in someone. That means give them that authority, power invested in the give someone that authority. Historically, when you give authority, you dress them in the related dress. Right. For example, someone is given the authority of an officer, of a military officer. Then they will be dressed by that military dress, whatever it is. So, invest originally meant giving that authority by dressing them in that particular clothings. That is invest. Nowadays, it is used in multiple places. That is most commonly we use for investments. Investment investing money for profits by putting money in stocks, etc. That is investment. That is what generally we are using right now. But originally it was about uh, giving authority to someone by giving them by decorating them in the particular clothing. That is invest. So it is related to investiture. This is the same word, investiture. Investiture is formal placing of someone in office. Okay, how do you formally place someone in office? They'll be presented with, for example, English king or queen, investiture. It involves presenting them with the crown, with the scepter, with the sword as a symbol of power. As a symbol of power. Okay. In the original meaning, it was about clothing of the new office holder in garments that symbolized power. Okay, that is investiture. In the olden days, there used to be a lot of fights between the kings and the religious officers, because the kings used to give the offices to people who are loyal to them, and the popes or the religious officers didn't used to like them because they don't want to be puppets of the kings, right? The investiture struggles, these are called investiture struggles, caused tension between popes and monarchs and even led to wars. Investiture is formal placing of someone in office, formal placing of pope, let's say. Okay, uh, this used to be seen as kind of bribing. Transvestite. Trans is across, transnational, across nations, transatlantic, across Atlantic. Translation is across two languages. Okay, that is trans means across. Transvestite. Transvestite is person, especially a male, who wears clothing and adopts the mannerisms of female. Okay, that is transvestite. Originally, originally when the in theater, originally all roles were performed by men only. Okay, so transvestite originally it meant cross-dresser, generally from theater, because all characters, even the female characters, even Juliet, etc., were played by men only. Okay, so people who are performing those female characters, being dressed as females, these people are called transvestites. Okay, but slowly what has happened? it is not acceptable in general public, right? To accept, it is not acceptable for men to wear women's clothings. Okay, on vice versa also in the past. In the past, it was not acceptable for women to wear men's clothing also, but the things have changed. Okay, so transvestite, and nowadays it means that men who actually wear women's clothings. That is transvestite. There's a much newer word which is transgender, which describes people who think of themselves have having changed sex, or who simply don't believe in the idea that they are either this sex or the other sex. Okay, transvestite is clothing across, that is cross dresser. Originally, it was these characters who were playing the roles of female roles in the theater and drama, but nowadays it means who is actually who derives pleasure by dressing in women's clothes. That is transvestite. Originally, the meaning was not bad. Transatlantic, transgender, we discussed. Travesty. Travesty. Travesty is very bad misrepresentation or imitation. Travesty of justice, for example. Distorted imitation, that is travesty. Broadly comic imitation in drama. Okay. Travesty of justice. Travesty of tax reforms. The word travesty also comes from the same root west, which is related to transvestite. Say, since cross dressing often isn't very convincing. Okay, a man wearing woman's dress or woman wearing man's clothing is not very convincing historically. Nowadays, women are wearing, but it is not very convincing. So it has got referred to as something absurd, which is not normal. So travesty is also kind of absurd because wearing someone else's clothes or wearing the opposite sex's clothes is absurd. So a verdict that angers people may be called a travesty of justice. Okay, so travesty has become to be meant as something very absurd, something very absurd. Okay, very misrepresentation of what exactly it is. The Theo. Theo comes from the Greek word which means God. In Sanskrit also it is Dev, Dev, etc. It is the same root word. Dev, Dev. This has got slightly changed as Theo in Greek. Theology. Theology is the study of religion. Is practiced by theologians. Monotheism. Monotheism is the worship of a single god. Mono is single. Christianity, Islam, Judaism, these are all monotheistic religions. They worship only one god. Whereas Hinduism is polytheistic. We worship lot of gods. Even Greek, Rome, they also used to worship lot of gods. Like Zeus, Jupiter, Mercury, they used to worship lot of gods. So these are all polytheistic religions. Apotheosis is apotheosis is transformation into a god. It is the perfect example. Theo is God, apotheosis transformation into a god. When you make a human being, we we treat them as gods, then that is apotheosis. Abraham Lincoln's apotheosis after his assassination, or Mahatma Gandhi's apotheosis. We make them into gods. This is not a new phenomenon, even in ancient Greece, or in fact in all civilizations, historical figures were worshipped as gods. Okay, even Julius Caesar, he was also worshipped as god. Lot of emperors were worshipped as gods. Napoleon, Washington, Shakespeare, these are all raised into the clouds, symbolizing their apotheosis. Atheist. A plus theist. Atheist is the one who denies the existence of God or divine power. In fact, in the Roman Empire, Christians were called atheists because they denied the existence of Roman gods. And very funnily, once the Christian church was firmly established, it condemned Romans as atheists because they didn't believe in the Christian God. So Romans used to call Christians as atheists because they didn't believe in Roman gods, and Christians used to call Romans as atheists, though they believed in their respective gods. Okay. Later, there is one more word which is called pagan. Pagan. Pagan is after some time. Pagan has got referred to non-Christians. A atheist means who doesn't at a later point of time. Pagan is referred to who are believing in gods other than Christianity. But atheist is who actually denied existence of any god. Okay. Theist obviously is the one who believes in existence of God. Okay. Something related to theism and atheism is agnosticism, which claims that there's an existence of higher power which is unknowable. These people are not religious. A lot of people who simply don't think much about religion, they call themselves agnostic. Means they believe that there is a superhuman power. Pantheon. Pan plus theon. I didn't mention it here. Let me write it down. Pantheon. Okay. Pantheon. Pantheon is a building serving as a burial place or contains memorials of famous dead people of a nation. That is pan plus theon. Pantheon also refers to group of notable persons or things. Theocracy. Theocracy is government by officials who are regarded as divinely inspired. Government by gods, kind of. They say it is government by gods. A state government by theocracy. There are a lot of ancient kingdoms which follow this theocracy. Nowadays it is rare. Even the governments of Iran and Saudi Arabia right now also, they're usually regarded as theocratic governments, because even though the president is elected by vote, it is ruled by royal families. The country's laws are religious laws. Okay, these are religious laws. That's why they are related as government run, which is divinely inspired. Next, icon. Icon is from Greek again, or Latin also it is called icon, which means image. Okay, icon means image. In English, icon means a religious image, usually painted on a small wooden panel. It's an emblem. It's a symbol. It's a small statue. That is icon. Icon is also used as symbol. For example, Ford became the icon of industrial capitalism after his imagination of assembly line. Henry Ford, which manufactured the company that manufactures the Ford cars, that was one of the first ones which created that assembly line and manufacturing cars at scale. So soon it has become the icon of industrial capitalism. Okay, so small portraits of Jesus, Mary, which generally hang in churches. Okay, so these are all called icons. Icons are generally regarded as sacred. So many people pray to them also. Okay, now we use the same word icon, which means image in computer also, desktop images, right? These are called icons. Icons are symbols. Iconic means again symbolic, relating to a greatly admired and successful person or thing. That is iconic. Iconic event of civil rights, etc. It is resembling an icon. Iconoclast. Iconoclast is a person who destroys religious images or opposes this their use. Icon is image, iconoclast is the one who destroys those images. So he's a person who attacks beliefs, settled beliefs, or religious beliefs or institutions. Historically, across all cultures, there are a lot of iconoclasts who used to smash, burn images of different gods, be it Jesus or be it Indian gods, Roman gods, whatever. So they didn't used to let uh, people worship their gods. Iconography. Iconography is imagery and symbolism of uh, work of an artist. Any art rate, any portrait, any art related to an artist, that is called iconography. That person is called an iconographer, an amateur iconographer. Next, urb. Urb. We know the word. We know the word which is urban, which means a city. Urb is also from the same root, Latin root, which means it is city. Urban describes cities and people living in them, right? Urban. Suburb. Suburb is a town near or under a larger city. Suburban houses, suburban settlement, etc. That's what we use. Urban. Urban is someone who is sophisticated and with polished manners. He was remembered as a gentleman and urbane host. Urban's another other synonyms. These are called save. Save also means smooth, polite, sophisticated. That is save. Debonair. Debonair is also related to urban. Debonair is someone who is cheerful, who is self-assured. Cosmopolitan, who has visited multiple parts of the world, various parts of the world. He is a cosmopolitan. He is free from prejudices because he has visited multiple places. He generally appreciates everything. Okay, he doesn't have any country-specific limitations or prejudices. Interurban city trains, let's say. These are traveling between urbans, between two different cities. You would see a lot of teenagers, they watch a lot of movies to become urban, right? In the earlier days, during 1960s and 70s, people used to watch a lot of James Bond movies and read James Bond novels just to become urban because James Bond was very sophisticated, right? The people used to do that. Okay, one more word which is exurban. Exurban is relating to a region or settlement that lies outside a city and usually beyond its suburbs. Generally, it is inhabited by well-to-do families. They are rich enough, that's why they can afford. X is outside of. Interurban we had discussed. Interurban is between connecting two cities. Urbanization. Urbanization also we know the process by which towns and cities are formed and become larger as more and people they come and stay there. Urbanization it's a recent phenomenon. The word itself has come up in around 1880s. It's not a old one. Okay, that is urbanization. Next, cult. Cult is to care. It is from Latin. It is to care. Cultivation is care of something. Caring of garden. Right, that is cultivation. Cultivation of crops. That is caring for crops. Culture. Culture is what you get by cultivating human knowledge or by caring for human knowledge, skills, beliefs, manners, science, and many other things over years. That is what culture. Culture is caring because you care for them, you care for all of this, you get this. That is culture. Acculturation. I didn't mention it here. Acculturation. Acculturation. It is modification of the culture of an individual group or people by adapting to borrowing traits from another culture. Acculturation is very important. It is when you go to a new culture, new place, you have to acculturate. Otherwise, it becomes very difficult. Okay, whenever people come in close contact with a population that is more powerful, they are generally forced to acculturate in order to survive. Okay, when Mughals invaded India, Indians were supposed to acculturate because that's a way of survival. Its acculturation generally involves adopting new clothing, new diet, new occupations, new language, new religion. This happens. It's not just in India, across all cultures throughout the history, acculturation used to happen. And some superior or one with a military superior power, they come and occupy a place. The native people have to acculturate. Next, cross cultural. Cross culture, cross dealing with or offering comparison between two or more different cultures. That is cross cultural. Cross cultural study means a study that involves multiple cultures. Okay, cross cultural comparisons like how people dress or how people eat, what they eat. These are all cross cultural comparisons. Horticulture. Horticulture is science and art of growing fruits, vegetables, flowers, or ornamental plants. That is called horticulture. It is a branch related to botany. Okay. Hortus. Hortus means garden. In Latin, it is garden. Americans are generally fond of horticulture. It is generally said that households, most American households, contain at least one amateur horticulturist. Subculture. Subculture is a group whose beliefs and behaviors are different from the main group within a culture or society. That is, within a major group, it's a small group which is part of that major group. That is called subculture. Bodybuilders, trekkies, hackers, animal lovers, motor enthusiasts, etc. etc. These people are called subcultures. These are called subculture groups because these are part of larger groups, but they are distinct in their own preferences. Aquaculture. Aquaculture is about growing plants or fish in water, mainly for food. That is aquaculture. Aqua is water, right? Dem. Dem and demo. Demo means people. Demo means people. Government of the people, by the people, for the people. That is democracy. Demographic. Demographic is having or something to do with the study of human populations, especially their size, growth, density, pattern of living, standard of income, standard of living, etc. etc. These are called demographic figures. Demo is people. That's how demographic. What is the sex ratio? Is all things. This statistical description of human population. Generally, it is used by government agencies, political parties, or in fact manufacturers of consumer goods to estimate what is the demand that their products might have. Okay, opinion polls. These all things. These are all based on demographic analysis. Endemic. Endemic is found only in a given place or region, often found in a given occupation area or environment. Malaria remains endemic in tropical regions around the world. It is in those places only. Endemic means in the population. So the panda is found only in central China or eastern Tibet. We don't see pandas in India and all, right? So these are endemic to those areas. But nowadays we use endemic to mean common or typical. So corruption is endemic in the government of a country. Okay, endemic means found only in a given place. Then similarly, pandemic. Pandemic is found everywhere. Okay, it is universal. We have heard these words, right? Endemic and pandemic for COVID also. Okay, endemic disease is something which is at a particular place, and they declared it as pandemic when it has spread worldwide. That is pandemic. Demagogue. Demagogue is a political leader who appeals to the emotions and prejudices of people in order to arouse discontent and to advance his or her own political purposes. That person is called demagogue. His supporters, for any demagogue, his supporters would call him the man of the people. His enemies would call him a liar. Okay? Is basically is a divisor. He divides people. He appeals to the emotions. That fellow is called a demagogue. Demo, dem is people. Demagogue is the one who appeals to the people. Demotic, demotic is demotic is popular, which is used by most people or common. That is demotic. In language, it will we call it as colloquial. Next, we'll understand another word which is related to people. That is population. Population is about people, right? Popular. What is popular? Popular is liked by many people. We know this. Popular. Popular. Popular is liked by many people. Liked by many people. That is popular. Popul is related to people. Population. Population is the people of an area. Populist. Populist is a person who believes in the rights, wisdom, or virtues of the common people. He claims that he is the representative of the ordinary people. Populist government. Populist party. They claim or they fight in the interest of farmers or in the interest of middle class or lower class people. Populace. Populace is common people, common public, masses, population. Henry Ford, with whom we discussed just a few minutes back, the one who manufactured Ford cars, right? Henry Ford's major achievement was to manufacture a car that practically entire populace could afford. Okay, his success was because of his appeal, the car's appeal to the entire populace. Populace is used to refer to all the people of a country generally. Populace. Populace is thickly inhabited, numerous, densely settled. Lot of people having a large population at the same place. That is populous. Populous cities. Mumbai is a populous city. Vox populi. Vox pop. We should call it short. Vox populi or vox pop is popular sentiment or opinion, public opinion. Successful politicians are always listening to the vox populi and adjusting their opinions or language correctly. They have to, right? They have to understand what people are thinking and behave accordingly. They'll make the same statements. That is vox populi. Population also we discussed. Now let's learn few words which are related to animals. Okay. Aquiline. Aquiline. Aquiline is the one who has a curved nose. Okay, men who has a curved nose like that of eagle. Aquiline is related to eagle, curving like eagle's beak. That is aquiline. Aquiline means eagle. Asinine. Asinine is foolish. He is stupid. It is derived from the word ass. Ass is donkey. Donkey is stupid. Right. It lacks in common sense. That's what people talk about donkey, right? Asinine behavior is the same thing. Idiotic or rude, aggressive, stupid, immature. All these things are called asinine. Bovine. Bovine is related to cattle, relating to cow or and oxen. This is placid, dull, unemotional. They don't have emotions, right? Bovine diseases, bovine anatomy, etc. Canine. Canine is related to dog. Canine dog family. That is canine. Canine devotion. Canine devotion is dog-like devotion, dog-like faithfulness. There are a lot of legendary stories related to dog's faithfulness, right? Canine devotion. We call it dog-like loyalty. Feline. Feline is related to cats. Cat family. Cat is cat walks in a very stylish way, right? And cat is very agile. Okay. We can say performers moved across the high wire with feline grace and agility. Okay. Cat is a very agile animal. And cats have always provoked a strong interest in humans. These Egyptian people, they worshipped them. We can see a lot of cat mummies, cats buried with their owners or with people as evidence. Cats were also feared as agents of devil also. Cat has got lot of emotions in humans. That's so. Leonine. Leonine is related to lion. Lion is leon. Porcine. Porcine is relating to pigs. Pigs are swine or pig-like. If you say someone's shape is porcine, that means he looks like a pig. Pigs, pigs are rarely given some credit for their high intelligence. Their pigs are generally very friendly as pets also, but at least in India, people are not given that. Pigs are not given that respect. But otherwise, pigs are very intelligent and they are actually very friendly. Pigs are reared in foreign countries also. But pigs are generally mocked for their habit of cooling themselves in mud puddles. Right, because they stay in mud puddles, they are mocked. But pigs are generally intelligent. Vulpine, vulpine is related to fox. Is very sneaky, very clever, very crafty, very foxy. Okay, foxes. Why foxes have been regarded as clever, crafty, and all? Because historically, foxes were always impossible to keep out of the hen house. Over the centuries, foxes have outfoxed lot of farmers. Lot of farmers try to save their hens and their ducks, etc., from foxes. But nighttime, whatever they do, foxes come. Sometimes, somehow they come with quick intelligence. They take away those birds, take away those hens. That's how fox. Fox are very cunning. Thank you, guys. I think we have covered another around 100 words in this session. We'll cover more words in the next session. Hope you have all understood these words. Please try to use them. We are discussing the roots of the words so that we'll never forget these words. Okay, we should refer dictionaries in case we come across new words. But the ones understood, once we understand a word, we should never forget it. That is the goal here. That's why we are trying to spend a lot of time at each word so that we'll never forget. Okay, all the best. Thank you, guys. Bye bye.